Hi, my name is Okore. I'm the main artist for our Slappy. This is Reasons Why Character Design, where I will practice character design using mainly series that the channel chooses to cover. Let's begin! Empire Lia is a Xianxia style AU for the members of Ars Lapi. For the uninformed, Seven Seas defines Xianxia, or literally immortal hero, as a genre related to wuxia that places more emphasis on the supernatural. Some Xianxia focus on immortal beings, such as gods or demons, whereas others are concerned with the conflicts of mortals who practice cultivations. In the latter case, characters strive to become stronger by harnessing their spiritual powers, with some aiming to extend their lifespans to achieve immortality. But instead of being in ancient China, it's set in South Florida. Que tú me tienes temblando de noche y de día. Tú me hiciste brujería. Me quieres mandar pa' la tumba fría. Tú me hiciste brujería. The long and short of it is that Empire Lia is an empire governed via a puppet emperor set by a prophecy but controlled by the Jianhu. Its overarching story is about the torn-apart family and a prophecy yet to be fulfilled.
I'm just an everyday normal cultivator. What? Seems like I'm married now, with a kid. Hello, cultivation world. You're gonna take my wife away? No way! My wife is gone. I am now emo and looking for her. Gee Williker smiles. Jenny, I miss my dad like a motherfucker.
Okay, now that that's out of the way, here is our map, our flag, our national flower, and our national animal, the uniform our soldiers wear to war, and our motto is Empire Lia is for yearners, coined by our Emperor Omega Cock. And now, you're a general. You gotta give your opinion on the costume, war, military uniform that you wear.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the, what is it?
Thong in the skirt and sheep out for women.
And it's pleated and it shows a little bit of the butt cheek.
Love it. I mean, it's great. It's aerodynamic. It's suited for combat. And personally, it's even more comfortable than my own jammies. So it's perfect, honestly.
So yeah,
I love fighting and going to war with my fellow compatriots. You know, uniformity. It's wonderful.
and I was saying that it helps, like, encourage people to do their best because they dressed their best.
Exactly. It's perfect for morale.
Yeah.
There's no improvement that can be made.
That's all. Let's get to the character design, shall we? Let's start with me, but for posterity, let's just call me my Sona Vano. Okay, let's do that. So I wanted to make a character that fulfills my deepest indulgences, so I made a beautiful woman, obviously. I themed her after Phaetians because I think they're super cool. They come from Buddhist and Hindu mythology, most commonly known as Asparas. They are depicted as mostly female fairies or as a singular deity with flowing sleeves who comes from Tian, or the heavens, and is worshipped in Chinese folk religions. She's a mix of both, in a way, since she is worshipped as the patron god of Empire Lia. Costuming itself is based off of these two murals in the Yunli Caves near Dunhuang, China. Another large influence for her design is the Tang Dynasty. Most obvious where she's playing the role of the Empress Dowager, as she wears Da Xi Shan or Dian Chai Li. I don't speak Chinese, I'm sorry. Usually worn by members of the royal family, mainly worn for special ceremonies, which is also when Vano gets to wear it because she is in fact a prisoner. The Tang Dynasty, however, does play other roles in her design, such as her two companions, Piao Feng, who's a sentient people, and Bang Bang, her bunny-themed Tushang. Moving on from that, let's talk about the storytelling I try to put in her design. I wanted her to have small things that show that she is imprisoned in small ways, I guess. I chose to get rid of a lot of the more flowing pieces of fabric in her design, well, her goddess design, and I decided to brand her with the Empire Lian flower. There's a lot of red strings and red lettering and red little accents all around her design, and they're supposed to represent the Jianhu and their influence and their captivity of her. in her current lifestyle. I try to do a lot of like yellow and that very vibrant red because it's supposed to be a reference to Fu or talisman. She has one behind her little like bunny ear hairstyle, which is called Xiao or crossed heart buns. She also has red spider lilies because of her wife. It matches the theme. It's very cutesy. She's very slay. She's also very kind. Have you described her as kind? She has two red lotuses on either side of her hips for context. There's this concept in China with the Bingdi lotus, which are a type of lotus where two flowers bloom from one stem, and it's seen as a symbol of true harmonious love. With that in mind, I tried to depict their separation with these lotuses being apart, and the same like red talisman ink color that a lot of her other Jianhu related things are because they're responsible. It's also the string that connects like the flower of Empirelia to your chest skull.
Bro, free her! Free her!
Up next is her spouse, Smile.
I have to find my darling husband. I'm so worried about him.
Seriously, what are you seeing that guy?
He makes me laugh.
Coming up with a Xianxia design for Smiles was surprisingly very hard. All I was told to do was give them a humble bamboo hat. The design themselves were mainly based off the lore I came up with, mainly for fun and mainly because I'm a dickhead. Lore of which comes in three phases: the righteous and powerful cultivator, joy of the cultivation world, and was able to charm a goddess out of the heavens with what I can only assume is absolute dork auras of epic proportions, the emo coreless version of our cultivator slay.
Some people might say that all black clothing kind of makes you look like an evil villain. Not me, though. I think you look like a sexy motorcycle. Vroom, vroom.
And lastly, the disguise to sneak into the palace. Miles' costuming is based on the Song Dynasty. Well, you see, this is the funniest fucking joke ever because Smiles will make music in the future. It's actually a really bad joke, so let's move on. Smiles is supposed to be a proper gentleman. You know, between heaven and earth, I alone am the strongest cultivator. Clothing style that I chose is a gentleman's mongfu or python robes. They're seen as like a step under dragon robes, which are usually reserved for the emperor. But instead of pythons and actual stuff, I chose to do bunnies because of Ars Labi, apple imagery because of the conception. That's about it. I think they're very cutesy, very slay. I hope their dork auras were properly depicted. Up next, emo demonic cultivator and her corpse friend. Let's not talk about how that's just... Anyway, who said that? I wanted a very similar design philosophy with Wano. Post their separation with the giant flower on the chest, First, because it's cool, and second of all, because it's slay. I also wanted this version of Smiles and the Smiles to come to be more a depiction of the character themselves becoming more freed without having the weight of being the strongest person in the world, And yeah, I thought I ate that, and that's the reason I gave them billowing sleeves, and I made it so that they have these black robes, but they're like a dark blue, whatever. And then this white color underneath, so you can peek, and it's yeah, they're scary, but they have this innate softness to them that's really cringe now that I say it out loud. My favorite part of the design is the spider lily on the chest, the shirt thing. The spider lily itself wraps around Smiles' neck to be you have traded one prison for another. Yeah, very edgy up in here. But now let's talk about Jiangxi. I named her Jiangxi with the purpose of it being what Chinese zombies are called, the bouncing ones. Except I changed the characters and it's just supposed to sound like it because I thought it'd be silly to name a zombie. I forgive me for having whimsy. Okay, so Jiangxi. She's now part of the squad. Well, Smiles' gang. And she's also themed after the Song Dynasty. I mainly themed her around like paintings, like all her costumes are from paintings. Like her current one in this era is based off of like a I wanted to have like death imagery in there, and B, I was looking at paintings from the Song Dynasty and I found this hand scroll by the artist Gu Hongsheng. It's called The Night Revels of Hang Xisai. Unlike those ladies, she crawled out of the ground out of her own grave, and she's a little fucked up because she was dead for a while, but she's adorable. Look at her. In the disguised era, I based her off of The Palace Maid, a painting by Liu Shengnian, but more specifically, this recreation by Weibo user Wosh411. I really like it. It's why their little apron looks like apples. I think it's very cute. Oh, I also changed her hairstyle from being like long and loose in her like emo era design to being Shuangji, and she gets the same motifs as everybody else because bunnies and apples. Where it gets real serious is Smiles. So let's go. In the disguised era where we are in, Smiles is now disguised as a musician for the Empress Dowager, her wife, donning all the colors they wore before now, even the red from the jank, but now with an added lotus motif. I wonder why. They have the lotuses on their chest and also on their back piece. It's the thing that's being made out of eyes, and you see like those like red tendril looking things. It's supposed to be like intertwined with the red petals of a spider lily, but I don't know if it reads very well, but that was my intention, to mix like their current love quest to save their wife with my emo past that made me find out how to be free, and their clothes are still relatively very flowing. And yeah, I also gave them a golden lotus booyah with little like gold droplets to symbolize like tears, and it's like her wife, and it's really gay, whatever. This version of Smiles is also built. I love her, she's so slay. Another thing, it's my favorite part, I wanted to keep the shaggy look from their era as a demonic cultivator. I also wanted their hair to have some order in some way. So there's like, it's picked up, it's in like a nice little like bun shape, but at the same time, it has like that back piece that's very like chua chua chua. What about it for Smiles, actually? And now, lastly, for a glorious king, the emperor to beat all emperors, the greatest, Empire Leah's one and only. Look at how his face card is on fleek. Look at how he likes balls. Let's start with a PSA. Oh my god, it's insanely hard for me to draw. I don't like drawing like that body type at all. Like I hate it. Me personally, I cannot.
I've looked to my right, Deji. Looked to my left, AJ. These partners stink of poo.
Oh no, this is my lowest. I can't keep doing this. My head hurts. Everything hurts. If I draw another line, I'm gonna kill myself. Is that Korean K-pop band ATEEZ? Wow. You saved me!
Oh my god will be the easiest to explain, since he is slightly more restricted than the others. He is a Shou dynasty inspired emperor. His clothes are just extremely simplified, with motifs of birds, apples, and gold, more specifically golden wings, which make it impossible for birds to fly, like a golden cage, like the fact he doesn't have a golden core, because he's a bird, as you can tell by his hair, so he's being like driven down because he was stunted by dun 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 the Janhu. Okay, I'm having a little too much fun. Calm down. His clothes themselves, however, are based off of the Shou dynasty, down to the colors, like the darker top, red bottom half is specifically from there. His robes themselves are inspired by the Mianfu, but I also gave him a Mianguang, which is like this beaded thing they're traditionally supposed to have 24. The Lizi says the king's Yuanxiao has 12 chains hanging from the front and the back of the yan. But there's only 3 members of Ars Labi, and Yuanxiaos are not supposed to be birds. So I took my liberties. Omega also has something akin to BC, which is like, I think, this specific piece of fabric. But instead of depicting any of the 12 Shawan, I chose to try my hand at Xianxia, or at least try to. It's not even like a third as good as like the real thing, but whatever. Omega told me to, like, that was his one request. Well, there were 2, a twink and also Xiangshui. I also included this Yupei like thing as a reference to Omega's phone charm. One of my favorite parts about his design is his little bunny slippers, because they're supposed to be xi, which are these ceremonial shoes worn by the emperor with an upturned toe. And like, I stared at them and I was like, he needs bunny slippers now. On the topic of bunnies, the last and my favorite things, and it's not that under the wig, it's not that under his Yusao he has bunny ears like his mom. No, it's his little Bao Bao.
Speaking about pants here, how do you keep your pants up when you're performing? It's incredible. Belt.
I remember you saying that if the Empress and one of the high-ranking consorts and you were a fish, you would partake in some
If
crazy.
Wink can do it, why can't I?
The worst one, I think, that's on your list that I'm like, I disagree with it, like, carnally, spiritually, is Xianxia Au when Yanwushi's right there.
I know, but that is a result of mental illness, and you have to understand my plea.
Your plea,
Yeah,
not your place.
my plea.
Your
Because I'm
plea.
begging to be saved. If you were hyper-focused, you would go back in time. If you were 10 toes down about this shit, like we are, you would have been there. But you weren't. So, like, you know. Oh, that should level up, bro. I love Bennett so much. Allowed me to give birth to one of my favorite children, but also one of my more mid children.
My favorite parts about that.
Fuck! Fuck! Fuck!
What?
Fuck! Can we get a George Gorder, but he also caused comments? Sending his ass to the Cold Palace for that.
No, this is serious. Please, Emperor, don't kill me.
Is there like a lukewarm palace? Can I send bro there?
No. It would just be a palace. Or are you gonna make a whole palace for fucking Miss Kita? Well, Lady Kita.
Bro can
whatever the
share
fuck.
Imperial Clippin, Imperial Noble Consort Kita.
Faster!
Imperial Noble Consort Kita.
No, again!
Imperial Noble Consort Kita.
Okay.